Hey, I'm Bethany Wallace. I want to talk to you a little bit right now about conflict and leadership. And I have just made an observation lately, noticing that there are certain leaders, and I've had experiences with leaders like this throughout my life, whether it's on the end of being an employee or someone who's more of like a client or customer, but leaders who don't want to manage conflict themselves. So they send in somebody else to do the dirty work. And I'll just give you like one example. So I met with someone one time. I was having an issue with an organization that my daughter was part of. And so I requested a meeting with the top person who I felt like was the best person to hear me out and also to provide potential solutions or sort of like some kind of middle ground or something. Also, I really wanted some clarification and I wanted to make sure that it was really accurate. So I wanted it to come from that person. When I showed up for the meeting, there was a different person representing that leader. And this person talked nonstop, didn't listen to anything I said and didn't ask any clarifying questions. It was honestly like a total waste of like an hour for me. And there was no resolution of anything at the end. So when I walked away from that, I kind of made a mental note of, man, I think one of the biggest pitfalls that leaders can fall into is to not handle conflict themselves, but to send someone else in to do the dirty work. So then the other day I was driving and I'm thinking about another situation that's similar. And I'm like, why do people do that? Why do leaders do that? A leader who's supposed to be, the head of the pack and paving the way and promoting change and growth and laying down the law if necessary, all those things that we sort of take on as leaders, like we're responsible for and we know it. But why do many leaders sort of subcontract or rely on other people to do that part of their responsibility or to carry that duty of conflict resolution, conflict management, intervention, mediation? Why would so many leaders not want to do it? Okay, well, I have like 4 potential reasons that I'm just going to throw out there. And I'm hoping this can help you if you're in one of those situations and you're really irritated by it. Or if you're a leader and you're listening and you're like, oh, she's probably talking about me. Maybe I am talking about you. So remember, leadership is a soft skill. It's an interpersonal skill that's a combination of talent and ability. And soft skills is all about what I do. So I care a lot about leadership. And strong leaders need to be able to handle conflict themselves directly and assertively, not aggressively, but assertively. So if you're struggling with that, then here's some reasons maybe why you are struggling. And if you need help getting on the other side of it, I do offer coaching in that area. So I would encourage you to consider that, because it's something that can really cripple you as a leader and also rob you of respect from your employees and from outsiders. So one of the reasons that employers do not, or leaders do not step up and deal with conflict themselves is fear or insecurity. Maybe for whatever reason, maybe something in their past made them afraid of conflict, so they avoid it like the plague. Maybe they're a person who just doesn't feel confident about their own ability to be assertive, to speak up, to deal with their own emotions when they're in situations. Maybe you're a really an emotional leader and you know that certain things trigger you, and so you want to like pull back because you're afraid that you'll get in that situation and not be able to handle yourself well. So that fear or insecurity about many different things can lead people to conflict avoidance and to send someone else in to do the dirty work. Another reason is intimidation. And so the intimidation, I don't think is exactly the same thing as a fear. It's more like a certain aspect of conflict prevention, resolution, management, just really you don't feel confident. Okay, so I guess you could also say lack of confidence. So there's fear, and then there's intimidation or lack of confidence based on just a lack of skill level. And I would say if that's the reason you're avoiding conflict, you're in a great place, because you can grow your skill level through executive coaching or soft skills training in the area of conflict prevention, resolution management, and probably also communication. Then another reason that I think leaders do this and like avoid conflict or shy away from it, stick their head in the sand, or send someone else in to do the dirty work is out of laziness, honestly, just being 100% honest. And no one likes to hear that they're a lazy leader, but conflict resolution actually takes up a huge chunk of many leaders' schedules and time. They have meetings for mediating between people, meetings to facilitate discussions between someone who reports to them and then someone who reports to that person. And just a lot of those sorts of conflict resolution and mediation and management meetings can take up so much of a leader's time. And so just because it just doesn't sound like something that you want to do, and because maybe you don't want to have to put in the work to do it, be the one to follow it through and see it through, that's just laziness. And so a lot of leaders, though, are lazy leaders. And then lastly, one of the other reasons, which I would say is a little bit justified for why a leader may send someone else in to do the dirty work, is prioritization. So just like I said, that taking time to manage conflict yourself as the leader can be very time consuming. That's why a lot of leaders figure that their time is better spent doing X, Y, or Z. And so they don't want to manage the conflict. They put it lower on the priority list and let someone else be the front person for that. I understand that one a lot. And I think that sometimes it makes sense, but I just would encourage you, if you're a leader, to make sure that you're not completely outsourcing all of your conflict prevention, resolution, and management to someone who works for you or with you. Because if you do that, you're also missing opportunities to shine as a leader, to gain the respect of the people who work for you. You're missing opportunities to really brand yourself well in the workplace. You're missing opportunities to build relationships and rapport and the confidence of the people who you would be resolving conflict between. You're also missing collaborative opportunities, which, really just to have the opportunity to grow alongside someone. Maybe there's someone who you see promise in, who works for you, but instead of sending them in by themselves to handle the conflict, maybe just bring them with you and let them learn alongside you through you modeling how to resolve conflict. Now, lastly, I just want to encourage you, if you're a leader and you've been listening to this and one of those things kind of rings a bell with you, and you know that you've been doing this, so you've been outsourcing all of your conflict prevention, resolution, and management, and you can see that maybe that's not the best strategy, then I'd encourage you to get some help with it. And you can get some help in lots of ways, but one of those ways is by doing soft skills coaching in the area of leadership and conflict resolution and management. And you can do that with me. You can reach out to me if you're interested in talking about that, or just finding out a little bit more what that would look like at BethanyWallaceCo.com.